Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Testing louder, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing roughly in the middle of those two volume options, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I think I'll go with that for now. Greetings again, everyone. Big Clinky here, and yeah, it's been a while. Apologies if my voice sounds a little bit weird. It's because, rather funny turn of events this week. You see, I'm supposed to be off uni, so I was going to use this opportunity to start recording commentary on the bits of New Mystery of the Emblem, Heroes of Light and Shadow I haven't quite covered yet. Just the bonus chapters and all that kind of stuff. So I was going to do, and I just happened to find a really nice 2-for-1 deal over at my local game store. That not only got me a cheap pre-owned game, Soul Calibur 5 in case you're wondering. Although the last one in that series I played was 3, so it's going to be a little weird seeing how things have changed, but that's beside the point. What I also got in that 2-for-1 deal was a brand new headset with a microphone. So, no more having to record commentary off of my webcam microphone. Which, yeah, was kind of crap, and I had to boost the volume up to 100% on my editing software simply to even make it audible over the in-game audio. So, as you can hear now, my voice should be loud, clear, and kind of phlegmy, because just as I had got this new microphone and was ready to test it, I got sick. Pretty badly sick, actually. I got quite a bad cold. So bad, I could barely even speak for several days. That was really painful. But now I seem to be finally starting to get over it. Not completely. My voice probably might sound still a little bit croaky and phlegmy, but anyway, I'm on the road to recovery, certainly, and my uni break is almost over, damn it. But I thought I'd get this one video out there. I just wanted to test this microphone at least once. So, yeah, just fair warning, those of you who aren't watching this as I uploaded it, who are coming into this video series a bit later, I would recommend you skip now until I get to the actual real meat of the video. But for now, I'll just give a few updates. So, hi. It's been a while since I last updated the Mystery of the Emblem playthrough. I said when I last finished that we weren't quite at the end. There's a little bit more to cover. Not that much, but still a tiny bit. But, anyway, I've been off for quite a while because, as you might know, Fire Emblem Awakening got released in America, and it's going to be released in Europe in about 12 days, but I couldn't wait that long. I paid $300, my currency, to import the 3DS bundle, so yeah, I've got an actual American 3DS now, and the game itself all the way over from America, just so I could play it early. I have not regretted that decision in the slightest, and that's part of the reason why I haven't been updating the playthrough in a while. So, yeah, quite a while has passed since I last updated, and since then, I am now married and have 2 adorable bunny children. Wait a minute, that's in-game me from Awakening. Suffice to say, I have really been enjoying Awakening. Absolutely amazing. I've kind of been caught up with DLC and paralogs, though, at the moment. I'm still, yeah, I've just finished the Valm arc. I'm not quite going into the last arc of the game, so chapters 21 to 25, until I've recruited all the children. Currently, I just have Jerome and Severa left. I'm saving Severa for last due to escort mission. I am not fond of the NPC AI in Awakening, let me tell you. Oh boy, really annoying that. It's proven to be deliberately suicidal, and I am utterly convinced it is pure evil and out to get you. Anyway, I'm probably a bit too over-leveled from where I am at this point in the game, simply because I've been doing an awful lot of DLC. Which I sort of have to, given that I've kinda got a semi-job over on Serene's Forest, describing them the DLC conversations, so the conversations certain characters have when they fight certain legacy characters in DLC chapters. I'm pretty much become their go-to guy for scribing Donal and Pan's conversations. Donal, because I got him ridiculously over-leveled early. Seriously, that guy's pretty awesome. He's now a Dread Fighter with maxed everything except magic and resistance. And Pan, well, she's kind of my waifu. I'm not really into the whole waifu stuff. I don't want to start flame wars. But suffice to say, she is my awesome bunny bride at the moment, who is killing everything with lethality. Anyway, got a bit off topic there. But, that's probably enough on Awakening for the time being. Suffice to say, I've been pretty busy with that. It's an awesome game. If you can get it, go get it. If you're a Fire Emblem fan, get it, get it, get it. I cannot stress that enough. It is amazing. Anyway, in other news, I have just recently finished recording all of the main story footage for another game that I want to do a commentary playthrough on. Unfortunately, a very, 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 very high-profile Let's Player recently covered that game at the exact time I planned on covering it. Yeah, that was bloody annoying. Ugh. So, basically, I may have to put that playthrough on hold for a little bit, because that is some really damn tough competition I've got there if I start uploading that playthrough now. And I have a feeling that, oh boy, oh, I have the worst luck sometimes. Seriously, it was exactly as I planned to record and upload that playthrough. I go and look at this guy's channel and hey, he's doing the exact same game. Ugh. He's become quite famous for it too, it seems. I'm not going to name names. I think they're actually a pretty awesome guy, but still, they are miles ahead of me in terms of popularity, and I am seriously going to get left in the dust if I start uploading mine now. I think their playthrough is finished, but anyway, I'm going to wait till a little later. Maybe it's a little bit later in the year. I'm definitely going to have to do it before October this year because of, well, I'll give you a hint. Another installment in the series that my playthrough is for has been announced to be coming out around then, and I basically am doing this playthrough in honor of the announcement of that installment. So yeah, that might be a little while. I have recorded all the footage, essentially, except for the post-game, and I'll be doing post-commentary on it when I get time. It just might be a little while, because again, bloody hell, I have the worst luck sometimes. Someone just had to steal the idea right out of my head at the exact time I was planning on doing it, didn't they? But anyway, with that sorted, I will talk about what, the main subject of this video is supposed to be. What we have left to do in New Mystery of the Emblem, so let's get right to it. So here we are back at the start screen. Now I've pretty much shown all there is to offer in the main story, so yeah, I won't really be covering much of that anymore. Instead, we'll head over to the Extras menu, where you can see this option here called Chronicles, or more specifically, Arcadia Chronicles. Here you'll see 4 options. It's kind of not really that obvious what they are at the moment. Also, if we go into the Download section, we'll see these 3 options are over here on the left-hand side, which says here, Play Downloaded Chapters. Now, yeah, I'm going to have to explain this a little bit, so I'll cut the video for now. What we have here is a series of actual bonus playable maps. Now, they're in no way at all connected to the main story, apart from plot, so your character's levels or anything like that won't carry over. In fact, you won't even get to use your own characters. Every one of these maps comes with a pre-set of characters who you have to use for that one. These missions are... now, they're not quite trial maps from Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn, and Sword of Seals, because, again, you don't get to use your party for the main story, but they are similar in the fact that they are little optional bonus maps you can play sort of completely separately from the main storyline. Now, they're divided into 2 sets. There's 7 of them in total. 4 of them are the Arcadia Chronicles. You unlock these after finishing the prologue in the main story, so after Chapter 8, the one where, spoilers, Katharina attempts to kill Marth. Once you finish that and get onto Chapter 1 of the main story, you'll unlock these 4 chapters, which you can play at your leisure at any time, really, yeah. Now, you do get ranked on these 4 ones, but I'll talk more about the ranks at the end of it. Really, it's kinda hard to, there's no real system you can compare your ranks against for this, because the rankings are kinda weird, and it's very hard to tell what the actual maximum is, but it uses kind of an Advance Wars-like system of grading you, but I'll talk about that when we actually get into the chapters themselves. But suffice to say, these 4 are different from the other 3. The other 3 are the downloadable content maps. Now, these are different from the downloadable content in Awakening. For one, you have to pay for the downloadable content in Awakening. These ones were made available kind of like the free download events Pokemon sometimes distributes. All you have to do is connect your game to Nintendo's Wi-Fi servers after a certain date when these maps are released, and you just download all 3 of them automatically. It's as simple as that. No payment, no nothing. Of course, you can't actually use your characters in the main story, but they're kind of nice little challenges, and they expand on the backstories of some people a bit more. Yes, the other main difference between these and the trial maps of earlier Fire Emblem games is that these ones have plot. Quite a lot of plot, actually, and this is why I find them quite interesting. Now, the Arcadia Chronicles chapters are set before Shadow Dragon. The 3 downloadable maps are set in between Shadow Dragon and this game. So, yeah, if you want to know the story, you might have to go back to Shadow Dragon a little bit and, yeah. I mean, that's no means the best game in the series, but, you know, maybe give it another look just to, if you want to understand the story of all these maps. Anyway, what I was going to say is, the reason why I mentioned rankings is because only the Arcadia Chronicles chapters are actually ranked. The 3 downloadable chapters, you don't get any ranks, no awards, no nothing. They're there just basically for bragging rights, really, and for the extra story, so you don't really get, again, much reward out of finishing them, other than the plot they provide. These, well, the rankings are pretty much just for bragging rights anyway, but at least there is some incentive for actually completing them. But anyway, there is something a little special about the Arcadia Chronicles when compared to the downloadable maps. Now, the 3 downloadable maps are all new. They were created specifically for this game. These 4, surprisingly enough, were not. Because, interestingly enough, Mystery of the Emblem is not the only Fire Emblem game Heroes of Light and Shadow has remade. No, these 4 maps were originally part of probably the most obscure entry in the Fire Emblem franchise, BS Fire Emblem, otherwise known as Arcadia Chronicles, just like it is here. Now, yeah, a lot of fans don't really know this one exists, so I'll talk a little bit about this. Before I actually start playing these maps, I'll put this all in one part because this is going to get pretty long, and I don't want to bog down the actual gameplay itself, so I'm going to put this all in this part, just so, you know, it's not, again, clogging up the other videos. Anyway, I give you Big Clingy's introduction to BS Fire Emblem. And you can stop snickering. The BS doesn't stand for what you think it stands for. It in fact stands for Broadcast Satellite View. Now, if you're scratching your heads at this, let me explain. Broadcast Satellite View was an add-on to the Super NES, released only in Japan. I don't really know all that much about it, but essentially what it let you do was, it let you download certain additional kind of mini-games that was sort of streamed through some kind of satellite distribution service, kind of like an early prelude to downloadable Wi-Fi content and stuff like that. Basically, this stuff was like streamed by a satellite or something. I'm not really too sure of the technical details. Basically, it let you download little mini-games that you could sort of play, and, well, there was some quite interesting stuff. I actually am pretty sure there was a BS Zelda at one point as well. But that and this are probably the only 2 BS titles I know of, so if there are any other notable BS download titles, you know, give me a shout out in the comments and tell me, because really this and the BS Zelda are probably the 2 things I know of, and I don't really know much about the BS Zelda apart from the fact that it exists and you're apparently playing as someone other than Link. But, anyway, BS Fire Emblem was a, you know, one of these mini-games released via this Broadcast Satellite View service. It was originally broadcast around September 29th, 1997. Now this is kind of funny, because this Fire Emblem game seems to have first been released on my birthday. Which is kind of amusing. The reason I know that is because all the children characters in Fire Emblem Awakening happen to have their birthdays coincide with the release date of one of the games in the Fire Emblem series. I happen to share a birthday with Kajel, interestingly enough. I guess we both love armor. But anyway, it seems that I couldn't figure out just which game was released on her birthday because, yeah, I couldn't really tell. Turns out that in fact that was the date that BS Fire Emblem was first broadcast back in 1997. And speaking of it being Kajel's birthday, that leads me to another interesting point. All the children characters in Fire Emblem Awakening are, again, their birthdays coincide with the release date of an earlier Fire Emblem installment. This means that BS Fire Emblem is in fact considered an official installment of the series. The developers actually consider it a standalone game in its own right. In fact, if you look at a very recent interview from Fire Emblem Awakening, you can find a link to it on Serena's Forest. If you look at that, they explicitly say that they refer to BS Fire Emblem as the 5th game in the series. So, for all those who refer to Arcadia 776 as FE5, you're wrong! Sorry. It seems Western fans generally prefer not to count this one, and so consider Awakening the 13th game, but apparently, officially, Awakening is in fact the 14th game, and BS Fire Emblem was actually the 5th. Bit of random trivia there. So what exactly was BS Fire Emblem? Well, it was a series of 4 maps, the same 4 maps you see in this game, that were set, again, before the events of Shadow Dragon. They were kind of, the developers' way of revisiting the story of Arcadia and Marth's games, although Marth doesn't actually feature in these ones at all. In fact, I don't even think he's even vaguely alluded to in the slightest. Then again, the original developer of the series, who eventually went on to found Tearing Saga, and sadly, I've heard he's now retired from gaming officially, which is kind of sad. Again, if it weren't for you, the Fire Emblem series would never have started, so, yeah, you're probably not hearing this, but you are awesome. Anyway, he said he wanted to expand on the backstories of interesting characters like Camus and Mishalis. Well, one of them is certainly expanded on quite a bit in the DS chapters, and the other one, interestingly enough, despite the fact he left the company by then, this game certainly expands on Mishalis quite a bit, so looks like he got his dream in the end, even if he wasn't there to see it. But anyway, these 4 maps were all story-driven. They were set during a certain event in history that occurred briefly before Shadow Dragon, and had you controlling a predefined party of characters, who, you know, just like in the main series, had growth rates, stats, leveled up and stuff, though you weren't likely to get them leveled up that much. Basically, each map was played, you know, pretty standalone. The maps were also timed, and I didn't mean a turn limit. You actually had a hard, physical time limit for these, which is a bit strange for a turn-based strategy game. And I'm quite glad that the remake in this game drops that, because, seriously, that would have been annoying. Also, the chapters didn't have a clearly defined victory condition. They were kind of like endless score-based games, you know, kind of like those old arcade games people would used to play, in that reinforcements would constantly stream onto the map every turn. Your goal was basically to survive and kill as much as you possibly can before the hard time limit was over. That was basically it. Now, that's radically changed in this version of BS Fire Emblem chapters. Now they all have their own specific goals, and you have to actually make an effort to complete the map. On the plus side, there is a lot less reinforcements than there used to be. Yeah, the originals kind of had pretty much endless reinforcements just so you could, again, see how long you could survive, essentially. They were basically, you know, sort of, I don't know, you could call it score attack, I don't know. Just, yeah, interesting like that. But the other interesting thing about these chapters, and probably the most interesting thing about them is, long before Awakening, even before Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, the BS Fire Emblem chapters actually featured full voice acting for the characters. Now, most people don't know this, because if you try and play the BS chapters now, you have to do so through emulation, because, of course, the satellite system's long since been shut down. And the only way you could have played these maps was when they were broadcast. So the only way to play them now is via emulation. But if you do that, you won't actually have the voice acting, or music for that matter, since all the sound effects, including the voice acting, were actually streamed live while you were playing the game. Fortunately, the guys over at Serena's Forest happen to have recovered a portion of the sound from the original stream. There isn't much to go on, but there's a little bit of voice acting and a bit of remixed music. So, I'll just treat you to a couple of tracks here. If you want, you can download this whole group over on the forums. This set contains a bit of voice acting and a few sets of remix music, which I'll show you now. So, here's some music. pretty nice remix of the first map theme in Mystery of the Emblem, if I do say so myself. And, interestingly enough, the next music track I've got on this set of tracks turns out to be my favourite map theme in the original. So, wow, what a weird coincidence. Okay, here it is. I'll be honest with you, that was pretty similar to the remix of that track in this game. But anyway, the most interesting thing though is the voice acting, and I've got a few samples for you here. Now obviously it's all in Japanese, since the Fire Emblem series hadn't even been localized into English at all at this point. But, I just happened to, well, translation is kind of a hobby of mine, so I've got a few clips here that I've managed to subtitle myself. So yes, translations here are all purely me. I'm not bragging here, just for the purposes of clarifying that. I haven't stolen anyone else's work. I translated this purely on my own from a transcript of the original Japanese script that I found on a site that I'll give you a link to in the description. So any one of you who can read Japanese, you can go to this site to just look at a transcript of the original original Japanese voice acting. But without further ado, I'll give you a little sample of just what the characters from Marth's era sound like voiced in Japanese.
DS Fire Emblem Arcadia 戦記編第1話パレス陥落。
それで戦いはどうなっているのですか。みんなは無事でしょうか。
戦況はかなり不利です。私も手ひどくやられてしまいました。早くここから脱出しなければ。このライブの杖も残りわずかですし。
わかりました。サイ様はここでしばらく休んでいてください。代わりに私がみんなの手当てをいたします。皆様、己ドルアヘメ！大丈夫ですか、皆様。ボア様、早く手当てを。もう大丈夫です。ミディア、気にしないで。私が悪かったのです。皆様、申し訳ありません。トマス、ミシェラン、トーマス、もっと気合を入れて戦うんだ。敵を近づけてはならぬ。ニーナ様をお守りするんだ。
So yeah, that's kind of interesting. Shame Dolph, Messelin, and Thomas don't get more of a part, voice-wise. They do have a couple of other lines here and there, but they're mostly death quotes or inconsequential random one-liners. And in fact, just a random note, that last bit at the end kind of goes to show why the English version changed, the Green Armor Knight's name to Dolph, because his Japanese name is so ridiculously similar to Thomas's, it's insane. They almost have exactly the same name. They're only a few syllables off, literally. So yeah, Tomasu and Tomasu. It's almost the exact same thing, so I can't blame them for changing it. That was just really weird. But anyway, yeah, hopefully, that was interesting. I've got quite a few more voice clips, in this little file here from the first episode, which I'll, be putting up soon. And I might include a couple of those in my video if they're appropriate. You'll see a couple of Camus lines at the end. I'll just, I might include a bit of his in the end of that episode just to, so you can hear his Japanese voice, which is pretty cool. Other than that, the voice clips are mostly from the 4th episode, which I probably won't be getting to for a little while, considering, yeah, I'm a little stuck on the 3rd BS episode. That one is tricky. It's kind of hard to figure out a strategy for that one. You'll see that when we get to it. But, anyway, those are from the 4th one, and so, shame I don't have many clips from the, 3rd episode, because I've heard that Ricard's Japanese voice is absolutely hilarious, and that his voice actor completely nails the character, but, yeah, haven't heard many of those clips, but again, heard it's hilarious. So, anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to say, at this point. So, yeah, that's basically my introduction to BS Fire Emblem. A little bit of just a few snippets of voice acting there. Knowingly, we haven't recovered quite a lot of it, but you can look at the link in the description for, the transcripts, if you can read Japanese. And some people on the Serenades Forest forums are translating bits of it. So, yeah, with that out of the way, I can safely move on to the actual chapters themselves. First up, Fall of the Palace, where we find out just how Nina's loyal retainers managed to get themselves captured in Shadow Dragon. See you then!